Welcome to Soundproof, where your host Shari Pine takes you backstage, down front, and behind the scenes for a look at some of entertainment's hottest musicians, producers, engineers, and other people out there on the scene today. And now, here's your host, that cool chick on a hot mic, Shari Pine.
Hello and welcome back to Soundproof. I am still your host, Shari Pine. And again, that music that you hear introducing this show is my Superman record. It is available where all fine music is sold, bought, streamed, pirated, stolen, you name it. So yeah, get on that. Anyway, I just want to get right to my guest, who is just a mind-blowing artist, not only a musician, but a crafter. Ladies and gentlemen, Alvin Harrison.
Hey,
Alvin, hello again.
wow.
It's so good to see you in your hat.
No, it's an understatement. Understatement. This was really cool if you even see you.
I just want to come right out and say thank you for all the years of friendship, because even though people can be far geographically, whenever I did see you, you always made me feel like it hadn't been but a minute, and were always welcoming to me on and off the stage. Thank you.
Oh, but my pleasure. You know, my pleasure, big time.
Let me just say, for people that don't know, or who I think might not know, because you're out there in social media land. Alvin is a bass player, to say the very least, and he's a real funky bass player. And he's in a band right now called the Sam Floyd Band, among many that he's been in before, but they're lucky to have him, I think. But Alvin builds, okay? He builds his bass guitar instruments from the ground up. He has his signature neck, okay, neck of the instrument that he carves, and it takes, we'll get into how long and how many hours and the whole process that takes a long time. Okay. But it's a snake. He always develops the head of the instrument, I guess, where you thread the strings into a snake head. You have hundreds of these. You create the gig bags. That is a whole process into itself. Let's just start from the beginning. We can talk about the music and how we've played and you've played and things like that in different bands and the kind of music that we like. But I want to hear and share with people about your carving, your crafting, your building the bass guitar and its carry case from the ground up.
Oh, sounds great.
Okay.
So should I start with about the next verse, or?
You can start with "Once Upon a Time I Was Born," blah blah. You know.
Good enough. I actually, I started building when I was, right here at home in Virginia. And what I used to do was, lusting after wanting to be a musician. At the time, I was wanting to get involved in jazz and all this kind of stuff. But at the time, I didn't have an instrument. So eventually I wound up with one bass that, I purchased from a friend, but because I'm an artist, I like to have my own designs and things like that, but I just love the bass instrument in general anyway. I actually got started, going back, I actually got started playing bass during a time when I was on crutches,
Oh.
And what happened was, while I was on crutches, I had time to sit around. And one of the things I was doing was I was listening to the radio a lot, And then one day I was analyzing the music and I was asking myself, what is it that I like about a lot of the music, And I come to realize, what's that heavy sound? It's like the boom, boom sound. It's like, there's something about that sound I just love about music, Come to find out, it was the bass. And I didn't know what, at the time, I actually didn't even know what instruments was making the particular sound. I used to think it was just going to be some big box or something. So I had no idea what it even looked like, you know. So even though you see musicians and they're playing everything, I didn't know what instrument was doing what, you know. So when I saw that it was that thing that looked like a guitar, I'm like, wow, that's making that heavy sound, you know. So I was intrigued by that, and then I realized, okay, they call it a bass, you know, and I fell in love with the look of the Fender bass, you know. So, but you know, of course, that you know expanded into other bass designs and styles, and you know, as far as the instruments that I liked seeing. You know, now when it came to the instrument that I wanted to build, by that time I had already included my artistic input, and I decided that I wanted to design and build my own bass. But that part didn't start until I started wandering back and forth to this one music store here in I was living in Portsmouth at the time, and there was a store nearby. It used to be called, I think, Center of Music. Yeah, Center of Music. Yeah, here, and at the time it was in Mid City, close to where I was living. I used to walk to the music store, and I used to actually go in there and sit down with one of the guitars and just play the guitar, play the bass, you know. And I'd be in there for hours, you know. Both sometimes I would plug it in, and sometimes I wouldn't, you know. But I'll be in there for hours just playing the bass, and I was waiting to get kicked out by the store, you know, clerk, but they never kicked me out. You know, so I kept on playing until one day I had to ask myself, what is it that makes these basses feel so good? You know, and that's when I started. I literally took the time to pick up the bass and look at what it was made out of. And when I saw that, wait a minute, these are wood, you know.
Wait,
I mean,
how old? How old were you?
Crap, that was back in 93. It's 93. I'm 62 now. So my math is bad. So you have to count back to whenever that was. That was before I
Okay,
left.
and that's when you discovered they were made of wood?
Yep, yep. That's when I realized it.
Okay.
Because what it was is I was so used to seeing the instruments that was so refined and polished. Look, you didn't even think about what they were made out of, you know, for the most part. At least I didn't, you know.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay, I got you.
you know, because it was like, you know, they look like cars, you know, like as far as the refined paints and all this kind of, I didn't even
Oh,
think
they're
about
super high shellacked.
yeah, all of
Right.
that.
Okay,
You
I
know,
see what you're saying.
nice colors and everything. So I didn't even think of wood. The only part that I thought about wood was just the neck, you know, but
Ah,
I hadn't taken it far enough, you know.
wait, excuse me one second. I'm having a technical difficulty.
Okay, okay.
Okay, that was very quick. And
Okay.
so please backtrack just a minute.
Mhm.
Your carving, and
Mhm.
because we're getting to that, we're getting to
Oh, okay. Mhm.
the whole climax of this.
Mhm.
The carving came first or after? Because you do miniatures and things.
It's
So we're
for
talking
it's miniatures in reference to
like other things, not guitars.
yeah, yeah, yep,
Like
like
you
little
paint
craft.
and you create all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So where should we talk about that? How do we?
Well, the crafting part came from when I started building hutches, and I was also doing wood burnings at the time. I didn't start the hutches
Is that
until
before or after the guitar building?
oh, that came up. Well, the wood burning came before, you know, the hutches came after, you know,
Okay, so
that was
we're in the
after.
middle. Okay, so
Mhm.
then continue with the guitar stuff. I'm just trying to place
That's okay.
uh,
That's
the
fine.
history of all this. So you
Mhm.
realize the bass guitars were made out of wood, and
Yeah.
so
And I was blown away, psyched. And I'm like,
okay.
wow, I like this. Since I like working with wood, I'm like, I should go home and try to see if I can make my own, you know? And that was the beginning of it. So I went and got some boards and every, you know, of course you always start out doing everything wrong, you know.
Heh.
So you know, so but I based everything looked on the dream, the vision that I had immediately. I didn't even try to copy a a classic Fender bass or one of the company bass. I just designed mine from scratch right from the beginning, and that's when I started with the Cobra thing.
Do you,
You know.
by the way, have one nearby that you would be able to show
Oh,
us?
sure, sure. Hold on, just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for waiting. We are about to see an amazing work of craftsmanship. I mean, people choose instruments when they go to Sam Ash or when they go to the Guitar Center, but this gentleman builds his instrument. It's like building a piano. It's like building a violin.
This is the one I just used on my recent gig. You know, let me see. This is you know, and I tried to,
Is it gonna bite me?
I tried to make it look that way, you know.
Hold that baby all the way up. Let's get a full view up and down. Okay.
And this is the body, you know.
Put that closer to.
Upside.
Let's get some detail. Pull it closer to the. Yeah. Oh! You've come a long way, man. Because I have seen the things that you have built, and I have never seen that.
Yeah. This one I actually did some revamping on it recently, you know.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So
whoa! I don't even know where to begin to talk about this.
This is the back of the neck.
Get that closer, please. Closer.
Oops, is it upside down? No, it's right side on there. You know, it's just a little African village.
Colors, though.
Yeah.
Okay. The last I saw, maybe I was in your studio, it was years ago or something like that. You were okay, so you've come light years away, and it makes sense because art does
it's like
develop.
It grows. And my other ones are slightly a little plainer because I was trying to see if I could come down and make something that was a little closer to normal. You know, so this was, you know, because I feel like, you know, my bases might frighten the natives as it has. You know,
we got somebody else for the gig. Thanks, bye.
Yeah. You know. So, and this is one of the other ones. And this one is a little, actually, it's a little more refined, you know, the finishes and everything. You know, it's just that it's not COBRAS, you know, but I do plan on making some more, you know. And this is the back. You know,
have you gotten, okay, so this is throwing my host schedule of interview off. Have you gotten, that's like a pick board, but it's on the back for protection?
No, so this is I mean, this is the
black.
You know,
turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
That at the bottom looks like, oh, that's where the pickup containers are.
Yeah.
Okay.
The electronics cavity.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is an oak body. You know, this is a maple neck, and they would kick me out of the club because I use woods that aren't considered good guitar woods. You know, but and this is an oak fretboard. Which
what are they instead of carding you for your age as is customary, now they card you for the wood on your instrument before you walk in?
Oh, well, yeah, almost. It's almost like saying, wait a minute, that's made out of what? Oak? No, you don't do that here. You're out of the club. You know.
Wait a minute. This is crazy. I don't understand, man. This is a mind blower. So it's not like ivory tusks or anything. I mean, there isn't anything that's prohibited.
No, it's just regular woods, you know, just regular local. Because I'm cheap, so I had to go get, you know, the cheapest wood I could afford. So
okay. We must. I gotta collect my thoughts a minute. When you are building these, and as I said, once upon a time when I went to your studio and I did see it was the wood shop or whatever, and your design has evolved into something breathtakingly, unspeakably breathtaking and unspeakable. How do you know what dimensions the body, the neck, how acoustics, soundness? I mean, I know it's not an acoustic, and so maybe it can be just like a block of wood,
right,
but you have to attach strings. But when you're considering the length of the neck, like step by step, like this is kindergarten like level understanding here, please.
That's what works for me.
Walk us through step by step. You have a slab of wood. No, you wake up, you want pine. You wake up and you want oak. What happens?
Well, knowing what I do is since what I've started, I've looked at the woods that they are traditionally used for the most part, you know, and maple necks are it seems to be the standard that you really don't want to defy too much, you know. So I pretty much stay with a maple neck, you know. but I sort of choose my own fretboards, how what I decide. I might even use poplar. I've even made a bass with a poplar neck, and again, it's just another wood. But as far as choosing woods, and I might make the body poplar or something like that, but I wanted to make oak because I like the grains and I like the density. And I like the kind of like the weight, helps with the sustain. Other than that, the scales and everything, I use basically mimic the scales of the manufactured bases, so I can stay within the rules and regulations. I can shape it how I want, but as far as functionality, it's got to tune 440. It's got to be playable, standard playable and that sort of thing. So those things I mimic, and I make sure that stays as my template.
So meaning the neck width and the neck length.
Yeah, pretty much the neck widths I keep the same because there's already a proven science, so that I try to keep close. Once in a while, I'll change it something a little teeny bit, like I might give the fretboard a little bit more curve or something like that, or make it a little flatter, that sort of thing. But the length is still, I tend to make my basses 30 or 34-inch scale.
What about the difference between frets? You ever alter that?
No, I keep that standard too. What I do is I'll make a copy of I'll copy on a ruler and a piece of tape. I'll take the ruler to the neck of a manufactured bass, and I'll take a pencil and mark off, on a piece of tape where all the fret markings are. So that when I go to make mine, it's exactly the same. Nothing's reinvented. So that when I go to finally cut and put my frets in, they'll sound exactly like the manufactured versions. Which has happened, quite, it's been successful for me, So, I mean, I actually use these in gigs, recordings, and so on and so forth, and nobody seems to be fussing about it, So, but
well,
I get
I'm sure, surely when you open up the gig bag, when you're on a studio gig or a live gig, and no one is, and there's somebody that's unaccustomed to Alvin's work, when you take it out, everybody crowds around and says, "Oh, this, that," and they're fawning over it, and then they tell you, is that one piece? Is that neck one piece, or you put that snake head on after?
Oh no! When I first made this, I mean, when I first made it, this bass has gone through some modifications, including amputation and reattachment. But when I first made the neck, I made it as one piece. But one day at a gig, the axe fell off.
One piece. I'm sorry. So you had to carve. So you carved you carved the neck, but then when you got to the top, you had to go out for the.
Yeah. So what I do is when I pick like a rather stock block of wood, it might that part will be straight, but then I'll have to glue another board on the back and glue like another board on the front and glue like a little board on the top. And it'll just be a big old block up here. The neck part goes straight through. Everything else just gets glued on it.
Okay. I thought you were like whittling like this humongous 2x4 and you started with a balloon at the
No, I know what you mean though. But no, I had to do it like this because it's a little closer work, less work, and a little bit more exact. It's just less whittling away, so it's like, but that's how I do it. That's how I start off. And then after that, once it's a big clunky block of wood up here, then I just start carving and shaping it. I mean, when you glue it all together, it basically becomes one piece, it's one block of wood, but then you just have to carve it up and everything as if though it started out that way.
Yes, I see.
But yeah, that's
how long in between gluing and drying and carving again and painting and carving and
and putting all the exteriors on,
I don't even know what to say. Like I'd have to look at it some more to ask questions.
That's okay. That's all right. Usually when
is that a poisonous snake?
Oh yeah, this is a cobra, king cobra. Yeah. These
guys,
are the ones
I think we're gonna have to end the podcast. It's a poisonous snake.
I'm like this. Every time I play a wrong note, it's like the rattle's like like that.
Oh my god!
That's what I used to tell people every time I play the wrong note. It's like whoa,
Wait! Oh my gosh, Nick. our producer, Nick, are you there? You have to remind me because I need to take a screenshot of that. I think it was Command 3 or Control. Alvin, put that neck up. Do that again. I want to get a screenshot of that to see if that even, or hold on, give me that. I don't even know. Okay, maybe I got it. Okay, he has it. Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, so then you had to, in order for that, well, that looks like the dimensions of the base body anyway. It's just super, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I sort of stay within the basic shape of the body so that not too much is thrown out of proportion, you know, and the science is still there. All the science is still there as far as, you know, balance and all that, you know, and that's another thing you learn about making these is balance, you know, is how long to make the body, you know, even this part, the bridge, how far it's away from the bottom, you know, because the further this is, the further the strap has got to go, you know.
So ergonomics or something, or but no, because the bridge area, I mean, that messes up, that controls the whole like pickups and the tonality and everything.
Yeah, well, see what it is. It's like it's as far as balance. It also with the balance and everything, you have to consider where your hands are going to wound up based on where your straps are going, and based on that basic triangular hole position like this.
Go ahead, put that on.
Yeah, so it's like a, you know, when I put a base on, you know, I have to consider how it's going to balance on me. You know,
right. Oh, this is custom made. I mean, it's made for you.
Yeah. You know,
so you got that little wrist. It's on the Anaconda's.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, it's just like,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's like on the back of the hip, on the what's called, and it would be traditionally where it would be like on the back of one of these. You know, like that. You know. So it all kind of balances out. You know, the concepts are basically the same. The tailpiece, you know, even the roundness. Let me see if I can put this right in.
It's
even
an Alvin Harrison signature base. Yeah, go.
Yeah, you know,
the roundness.
See, even this is still basically mimicking the basic shape, you know, of a traditional guitar. You know, all around here. Yes. So it's basically in the same register. It's just that this is you know, cut out.
Okay, the one that you're holding, did you, I mean, surely you try these on and you build them custom to your, where your hands are falling. So when, like that part right there, like his second coil or something like that, when you're at rest and you're just like walking on the bass and you're not slapping, right? When your wrist is on the body, his body, I don't know what his name is, or if it's a female or a male. Yeah. Did you build that coil according to where your wrist would lay for walking?
Oh, no. It's just I just kept this in the basic shape of the guitar.
You did say that already. I am a little bit slow.
No, that's okay. That's all right. I'm the same way. I'm in good company. You know, it's nice to know that we matched.
Yeah, but I haven't. I mean, no, you clearly are a genius.
Thank you.
The fretboard, is that me on the fretboard, Alvin?
As close as I can get.
Oh my goodness! What the heck? Okay, pickups. Talk to me about pickup placement and what tell our people at home what is going on.
That's good. Basically, the pickups are. I look at the standard styles on the other basses and see kind of like where they put their pickups. I usually order my pickups from like Stu Mac, you know, magazine. If I can, I don't know if I can say that on, you know.
Oh well, I got chapstick, so.
Oh no, I mean I didn't know if I. Oh okay. So but I would order parts from my favorite luthier, you know, a supplier, you know, and then I would either use the schematic that comes with it, the electrical layout, you know, or I would copy the electrical layout of my favorite bass, which was my Fender bass, regular manufactured bass, you know, because I'm still a fan of just bass guitars in general, you know, but I would just copy the schematic to that and just put that in there, and you know, because I like the sound of that, you know. And as far as position, I like experimenting. I might put them up a little close, I might put them up a little back. I sort of get That's my privilege, artist license.
Okay,
I
let me
started-
ask you. Let me ask you about that now that you've put the thought.
Mhm.
So when you're experimenting with pickup placement, I mean, it's like once you have to. The only way you can tell if you like it or not is by the sound. And if you've already placed them and you don't dig the sound, then you got to go back and move them.
Well, technically, that's what I realized.
That's
I
like
had
a
to do.
finished product already when you
Yeah.
place the.
But you know, it's like if you're used to working with wood, it's like, well, I'm making this for me, so whatever the flaws might be, I can live with because I
Oh,
know how to fix it for myself. Now, if I was
gotcha.
making it for a customer, I would just probably, block it in and recarve the entire thing or something like that. But it's it's ways to do it without having to necessarily make the whole base over, you know.
Let's talk about customers. You got customers, I bet.
Well, no, I haven't pushed it the way I should have because I got so many irons in the fire. My girlfriend gets on my case about this too, but and rightfully so.
She wants that money.
Is that, what happens is because I do my art, I do the music. At one point, I used to be in 7 bands at one time, because I was determined.
Everybody I speak to, I'm in 7 bands at one time.
Yeah, I was determined to try to make playing music my full-time legitimate day job. And the way everybody was playing, it was so sporadic per band. Like even the band that I'm in now, we're our average is like two gigs a month, or once in a blue moon we might get a third, but that's the average. And when I was in Jersey, at one point I ran into a lot of that, but I was like, okay, I want to be playing a lot more. I don't want to be doing custodial work, or doing newspapers and washing dishes. I want to play music 24/7 almost,
You're like Van Gogh. I mean, washing
Mhm.
dishes and
Yeah.
creating this like
Mhm.
master
Oh,
work.
thank you. But that's what I want to do. And I feel like I realized the only way to do that is you have to join a bunch of bands. And the bad part about that is a lot of bands, rightfully so, they don't want you to be a part of a lot of bands because if they get a gig on a day that you're playing with another band, that's an issue,
Well,
So
they're going to have to make it worth your while to stay with them only.
exactly. And most bands can't, but what happens is uh you want to play so bad, it's like well, let me see, what can I do? So what I did was, any band that couldn't have that, I respect that, and I said, okay, I can't be a part of this band because I know y'all have that criteria, and that's fair, it's understandable. So I just had to keep on until I found bands that was willing to tolerate me being in other bands, and I wound up accumulating at least 7, and that was like for 3 months or something like that, So and the way I did it so that it would work was I did like a first come, first serve booking basis. If one band calls me before another, I would put that down and
Yeah, whoever's on the calendar first.
yeah, and
Let-
whoever even so much as asked, if they ask me, I used to draw like these little things like codes, like a pair of eyes which means this band is looking at this day. They're not confirmed yet, but they're looking at it. So if another band calls me about the same day, they either have to have something
Clown eyes. So
yeah,
Cobra eyes, clown eyes.
yeah, yeah.
So whoever gets the gig gets the bullseye.
Right. Well, but basically what I did was my thing was, okay, I, even though these people are saying, well, we got to confirm give us so-and-so, it's like, can you do this? And I say, well, I have to talk to the other band first. That's the privilege that they get is I check with them first.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Mhm.
Oh, excuse me. All right. You didn't say that. There's so much to talk about. I want to know about your musical influences. I mean, I can talk to you all day. And I think people could listen all day and look all day at all of that beautiful work. I want to discuss, the painting, the shellacking, the colors, the artwork. But I want to hear about your musical influences, R&B, soul, pop, blues, metal, all of it. Can you tell me in 5 seconds? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'll try. Well, basically, when I first started out, it was like, of course, it was pop tunes and that sort of thing in the very, very beginning, and then I migrated to wanting to play contemporary jazz, like, like modern jazz, which the jazz purists call it pop jazz. They don't consider it real jazz, but they call it
Right.
pop. But they like elevator music. But I love that.
Oh, you mean music?
Yeah, like yellow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or like they would have considered like the Yellow Jackets or Spyro Gyra, more like pop jazz, instead of the traditional bebop jazz,
Right.
But
Okay.
that's the stuff that I liked, So I would, like Grover Washington and all that, So I was all into that, playing, trying to get those tunes down and stuff like that, which I still would need to go back over and do today, but and ever since then, that's how I started out here in Virginia. And then when I got to Jersey, I started getting into more blues, more of the Grateful Dead, type eras, and that sort of thing. And basically those were the stronger situations I would find myself in, more blues and Grateful Deadish type music when I was in Jersey. And like a little bit of pop music, but not as much. I always wanted to play like the pop stuff, but I felt like going to the jams, I couldn't find enough people that would want to do that, So I wound up doing the more the blues and then the Grateful Dead type stuff, but
Are you a big concert goer?
no, everything I do is like from afar. I'll see it on television or something like that, YouTube it, video, that sort of thing.
You'll see it when it comes to the bus.
Oh yeah, so it's like the whole getting mixed up with the crowd stuff. I'm like, I'm not really too big about that, but and a lot of times for me it was a financial issue. I could never afford tickets and everything. I was always living day to day and so the idea of going to concerts and things, generally didn't really happen for me, but I think I had been to a couple and here and there, but I mean, it was what it was. I still appreciate it. Listen to the music via.
Okay, so the Grateful Dead, Grover Washington.
Yellow Jackets, Spyro Gyra. Wow, there's a few more. I can't even think of them. And then there's still.
That's your personality, by the way. You're very bouncy, very laughy, very up. And when I think of Spyro Gyra, I can see you fronting that band.
Yeah. Oh man, they're fantastic
But
cats.
the dead is got to be just because virtuosity. I mean, because they are just like, hi.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Like, but I mean, I like the variety of music. That's one thing I really found that I really love, and I discovered that by accident here in Virginia. Through this, it was one time where I used to work at a local restaurant, and one of the guys picked us up, my brother and I, to go to work one day, and he was playing the radio, and his character was funny, so it was like. I would say, "Oh man, I love that jam," and he would go and reach and turn the radio to a different station immediately just to be messing with me, But it was like, and then every time he turned to a station, regardless of what style of music it was something that I liked. I was like, "Oh wow, I never heard that in a long time," and then he'd change it again. I was like, it was funny. He was a funny cat,
So then it's either Alvin has like broad musical tastes, or what they were playing was just like really good.
Right.
Oh.
That's what it was. So I realized at that moment that I liked a lot more styles of music than it had ever come to my attention, and I just continued that. So anytime I listen to anything, I mean, from reggae, country, Latin music, funk, jazz, blues, all of that,
What can't you stand though? There's got to be one genre. I just can't stand music.
I'm not sure.
I don't think you're that type of person in general. I think that you would
it's like I try to open up to a lot of things. Even classical. I like classical music too once in a while. I wouldn't consider myself an opera candidate, but I respect it.
Right.
So it's like I'm not really.
You're very diplomatic. I think it's got to be a personality thing, because I think that, I mean, you're like I said, you're very diplomatic, and you've always come off as very generous, very kind. And so I think that people this might be just like a life lesson for Shari, but it seems to me that people they carry their personalities with them across literature and art and music and people and everything.
I guess I thank God for who I am and for the raising that my mom and dad gave me. Other than that, it's a mix of life experience and just trying to do moral things for the most part. I think kind of puts me in a particular headspace growing up.
Can you tell us about that growing up? So Virginia and your mom and dad were strict, or they were disciplinarian? They were have enough rope to,
Yeah. Well, no, it's like, well, mom and dad, dad was in the service, once he was, alive, he was a full-time service, and mom, was the, the homemaker and stuff like that. So we always, sort of crowd around mom a lot. And so mom was, I would say, very spiritual and always transferred, what she could learn, what she could share from, about God and our upbringing and everything. So we gravitated towards that. And then also we stayed home a lot. We weren't really, out in society as much as the other kids. So I guess we weren't influenced as much, by society.
She kept you pure. She kept you guys pure.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't like shelter us, we got, she gave us a little line to get out, and stuff like that. But we still had certain values that we embraced, pretty strongly, amongst the three of us growing up. I got a fourth sister. We got a fourth member, that which was our younger sister, Kenya. She came later, but for the most part, most of our growing up was my brother and my other sister. I'm the oldest, and we just sort of grew up around each other with the same mindsets and everything. Everything was based around spirituality and stuff like that. Now we weren't like, what's the word when you're overly involved in something, or we weren't like overly, I can't even think of the word, but it's like we were, I wish I could think of the word. It won't even come to me. But like when you're really, really over the board, involved in something, it's a word for it. I can't think of it.
Engrossed.
Yeah, I'll use that. It's like we weren't, like that.
I need another clue. Sounds like second word, one syllable.
Yeah, we know it's there. We know it's there. It's
it'll
like,
come to you. And so you weren't that way.
So we considered ourselves kind of average kids, I guess. For the most part, we just didn't go out a lot. We did most of I was involved in sports. I was on the high school basketball team, the varsity, and all this kind of stuff. My brother was on the JV. And we was, we were the types that was embracing the Sabbath day and stuff like that, and having to deal with that versus church, and versus playing sports. And I violated a little bit because I wound up still playing high school ball and sneaking.
What Sabbath day? Sunday?
Oh, Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, it's like the Jewish Sabbath.
Yeah.
So we were. We would consider ourselves was it Protestant? Is it Protestant? No, it was, I don't know, I forgot what we used to call ourselves. It's like
Seventh-day Adventist?
No, I would say more close still to Protestant. I would say Protestant between Baptist. I can't figure it out.
Presbyterian.
No, not even that.
Methodist.
No, it's somewhere along there. I can't believe I can't think of it now. I haven't used the term in such a long time. Say, shame on me. But anyway, but we were more like that. And I guess I feel like it was kind of loose, but still embracive to our beliefs and stuff like that. We just kind of knew how far to go and that kind of thing. Still being kids. But we just didn't get involved in
what a good mom.
Yeah, I credit both of them, both mom and dad, and especially mom. We were like big embracers of mom.
I'm sorry, I thought your father had been deceased.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He passed away in October of, I forgot when it was, not 04, something like that. No, later after 04. But he was the disciplinarian.
Bug eyes. Yeah. So we got snake eyes, bullseye, clown eyes, and bug eyes.
Yeah.
Tell us about disciplinary dad.
Yeah.
Or not.
Huh? What's that? Oh, what, dad? Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, but he was the one that we were frightened of. All he had to do was just shake the belt, and we got straight. So, and that was it. But he was still, good dad, good dad. We still, I consider myself as having had great parents. My mom's still around. That's why I'm here in Virginia now. Time to come home and take care of mom.
Okay, that's a beautiful thing. Let me just ask you. So both of your parents, their upbringing was also in the South in Virginia?
Yeah, mom was from Murfreesboro, North Carolina. Is it North Carolina? Yeah, Murfreesboro, I think it's North Carolina. And dad, of course, was like this area, or like Portsmouth area, you know.
Okay.
But being he was a full service participant, Air Force.
Can you please give us your socials? I would like very much for you to, if you're comfortable,
Yeah.
give some social media addresses so people can contact you, inquire if
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah.
not overwhelmed about your custom made, uh, uh, instruments, and
Mhm.
also, Alvin, you're a craftsman and you do um, carvings
Mhm.
of doll houses. We didn't even get to that.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to have to be another episode, but we're going to get you to recite your socials now, please. And
Yeah,
hats off to you, but I'm going to put mine on to
that's
join
okay.
you.
That's all right. I like it. I need nice style.
Your socials.
Well, I'm on Facebook. It's just Alvin Harrison. The Facebook. You can find me there. And then there's Crosscut Coyote Folk Bench, which I put a lot of my videos up. Because I make a lot of my videos, my promotionals. I make the promotionals for the band. I can also be connected with the Sam Floyd band. It's the samfloydband.com. I'm on Instagram, and my girlfriend really mans a lot of that. I handled the Facebook stuff from my end, but my girlfriend takes care of my Instagram.
Hey, girlfriend.
Joy, that's my baby. Um, um, Let me see, Instagram.
Crosscut Coyotes
Yeah,
is one word, and it's spelled the way it sounds.
yeah, Crosscut Coyote Folk Bench. I know it's
Oh,
long.
Crosscut Coyote Folk Bench.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
And she does your Instagram, and Facebook
yeah,
you gave us, and
yeah.
email or website.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the website is also Crosscut Coyote. Well, that's
Okay.
that's the one that's Crosscut. Email is Alvin Harrison yahoo.com. But I want to change. I want to use a different email eventually. I just have to pull that together. I want to have a personal email and then more of the business thing. So I might have to push that one after I get that a little bit more organized. Those are the most part. I think there might be a couple more, but like I said, my girlfriend, she's better at running those for me than I am, So my strong point is just Facebook page. But the Crosscut Coyote Folk Bench, that's another one where I post my content and stuff like that, my
Okay.
videos and animations and things of that nature.
Okay.
So
Alvin, I just we're gonna wrap up, and
okay.
even though I want to unwrap some more of the
Uh-huh.
story, we're gonna have to do that at another time.
Fine.
Um, but I want to thank you, and I want to say God bless you,
Oh,
and for sharing your personal story. And
absolutely.
I would really like to pick up on this at a later date if you would be agreeable.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
I
I
mean,
think definitely that I would look better in your hat, but
that's
thank you
okay.
for encouraging me to wear mine.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, we'll just
It
have
is
to,
phenomenal seeing you. Nice.
yeah, high five. We'll have to say Happy New Year, and I'll see you.
Yeah, big time. I enjoyed this. This is really fun.
We also did. Thank you, Alvin. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Look forward to it again.